Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. I'm Randi Thompson, sitting in for Sam Shad. We'll be talking today with Andy MacKay, who's the Executive Director of the Nevada Franchise Auto Dealers, and Paul Enos, the CEO of Nevada Trucking. Coming up on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Liberal D.C. spending is making life in Nevada painfully expensive.
It's a killer, it really is. Groceries, everything.
I have no choice, I gotta get gas one way or another.
Not only gas prices, everything is going up.
Senator Catherine Cortez Masto joined fellow D.C. liberals voting for trillions in government spending, causing inflation and higher costs, making it harder for Nevadans to get by. Tell Senator Cortez Masto to stop voting for reckless spending and start fighting inflation.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Events Center in Las Vegas. Host meetings and events on 2 floors. Stay in luxurious rooms and suites. Unlimited branding opportunities. Regional Italian cuisine by Chef Mark Segrisi. Flexible event spaces. Full buyout options. Visit ahernhotel.com today.
I'm here at the Carson Valley Inn in Minden with Joey Whitaker. Entertainment here at the Carson Valley Inn is extraordinary.
Yeah, super proud of the TJ's Corral, our outdoor venue, about 1,500 seats. We've had first-class entertainment out there. We've had Merle Haggard, we've had Chris Young, we've had Lee Brice a couple times, we've had Pat Benatar, Joan Jett, who's in the Hall of Fame. We're real proud out there, and it's just a great time. Watch CarsonValleyInn.com and grab those tickets early. It's not a long way to get away to the Carson Valley Inn.
Pro Group Management offers workers' comp services to a growing number of industries. As businesses grow and change with the times, the need for a solid workers' comp program must be flexible and up to date. The evolving nature of regulations can make staying ahead of complex tasks challenging. But Pro Group Management simplifies the work so your industry can move forward and succeed. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And we're back on Nevada Newsmakers with some, well, rather intelligent but very funny men this morning. Some of my favorite people, Paul Enos, the CEO of Nevada Trucking, and Andy MacKay, the ED of the Nevada Auto Franchise Dealers. Nevada Franchise Auto Dealers. The car guys.
There you go,
the car
Archie.
guys.
Good job.
This is the car guys. All right, I wanted to talk to you guys because infrastructure and supply chains and gas prices are impacting everybody, but especially your 2 industries. You're really feeling it. So, Andy, I'm going to start with you about the auto shortage. I've given up trying to even look for a car right now, although I could probably sell my car and then I could just get a Lime and run around town. But what is up with manufacturing of autos in America right now?
Probably lack thereof. This is, as everybody is aware of, I don't care who you are, you look at the news, our industry is probably taking the biggest hit. When you look in terms of just in Nevada, the most recent 2 months, April and May compared to April, May of 21, cars are down 39.6% and light trucks are down 35.0%. So overall the market in Nevada is down 36 in that 2-month period. That's about consistent with what we're seeing across the country. It's a little worse. We're actually stronger, and then we're getting the lag now. But it's a confluence of a litany of issues, primarily microprocessors or lack thereof, in everything from plastics to leathers. Wiring harnesses are probably the second biggest factor, and this is going to be a problem that we're going to see, and you aren't going to see normalization until probably about a year from now is when you're going to start to really see it. So this is going to be a long slog. If you're looking for a new vehicle, be patient because you just don't know when you're going to get it. However, if you have a car you want to trade, do it now because you're never going to get better dollars right now for your pre-owned vehicle than probably ever than right now.
Yeah, it's amazing. You used to say when you drive off the lot, you immediately depreciate by 10 grand or something, and now you're actually looking at, I don't even think depreciation's even in the picture anymore for car values.
No, they're not. In fact, buying a new car right now, you could actually argue actually buying a car right now is the best investment that you can make, considering the way the stock market is doing. Maybe other than having bonds, that's about the only thing that has a guarantee that you're going to get a return on right now.
Very true. Are you seeing similar things in the making of trucks?
Sure. We are seeing supply chain challenges for new equipment. It has been something that we have been dealing with over the last 2 years, from the chips to diesel exhaust fluid sensors to tires to windshields. You know, we even hear, I get inquiries every couple of days about a diesel exhaust fluid shortage because there is a worldwide shortage of urea. When I ask my folks, I'm not hearing that they're being impacted by it, but it's definitely things that we're hearing about. It has affected countries like Australia. Diesel exhaust fluid is what you put in a new 2010 or newer diesel engine to cut down on the exhaust. So, it's an environmental thing. So we have seen a litany of issues with our folks, in terms of shortage of trucks, and of course we have a shortage of drivers. We have a shortage of, Randy, that's really what we're dealing with. We're dealing with an economy right now that has to adjust to shortages. We have had abundance for so long. We have a shortage of labor, we have a shortage of raw materials, we have a shortage of energy. That's why the prices of all these things go up. Unfortunately, our president is either stupid or a liar in terms of blaming gas station owners for driving those prices up. The reality is we have a short supply, and we're not doing anything in this country to not only help us achieve what we need in terms of creating energy here domestically, but we could be helping out our friends in Europe who have been dependent on Russian natural gas and Russian oil for too long now, but we're not doing that.
It's shocking that this administration just doesn't even know where to begin. So
I think they do know where to begin. I more go to the liar part than stupid. At least I hope that's the case. But the reality is, we have policy that is dictated by platitudes instead of by physics and economics. Physics and economics beat political platitudes every single time. We talk about going to the new future, and we talk about electric vehicles, electric trucks. The amount of minerals that we're going to need to achieve those goals is absolutely staggering. It takes 7 to 10 years to get a mine permitted in this country. You look at what the Chinese are doing in terms of graphite, nickel, cadmium, cobalt, lithium. We are way behind the 8 ball on that, and unfortunately, we're not seeing a lot of movement from our national leaders who are really unserious about all of this.
But they're so serious, they say. Continually they're going to seriously attack these issues, seriously. So, sorry, that's a Kamala Harris thing yesterday. What could Congress be doing? What could the president be doing? What could this administration be doing to help with, let's say, the supply chain issues? Are there things that can government fix this, or they should just get out of the way?
Well, I think Paul hit. There are a litany of things they can do. But when you talk about energy and the price of gas, and make no mistake, the cost of energy is driving a precipitous increase in just general cost of goods. It's just that simple. What was it, 3 days into his administration? No, maybe it may have been a day into his administration. With the swipe of a pen, he got rid of the Keystone Pipeline. Mm-hmm. So we literally, in an instant, became energy dependent when we were energy independent in the United States, which, to Paul's point, he's 100% correct. Had he not done that, we'd be able to help out some of our allies in Eastern Europe that are at the whims of a frickin' madman.
So Congress is still kicking around a Build Back Better bill and infrastructure funding. We all know that we need to be investing in our highways.
You know what? Hey, this is a place where I'm going to give the president and our members of Congress some credit for getting an infrastructure bill passed. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, they really didn't pay for it. We saw the president a few weeks ago talk about a federal gas tax holiday and doing that on having every state do that as well. That is a minuscule part of the cost of petroleum. I think for diesel, it's about 4%. For gas, it's around 3%. So it's a little ridiculous to hear, once again, these platitudes from our leaders as opposed to doing what we need to do to make this country and our allies, and truly, even the American people, there's not one person I talk to who isn't feeling the hit, whether they're a truck driver, whether they work in a casino, whether they work at my brother-in-law's donut shop. They are feeling the hit from inflation. They are feeling the hit from increased gas prices. And it's not the oil companies, it's not the gas station owners, it's the public policy that we have put out there today. When you tell oil companies, hey, you've got 12 more years, 13 more years before you got to get rid of fossil fuels, before you got to get rid of petroleum. Are you going to build a new refinery? Are you going to build a new pipeline? Are you going to make those billion-dollar investments into getting that resource out of the ground and into the gas pumps? Probably not. So what we do need, Randy, what I think our leaders could do is take a much more serious and realistic tone about how we achieve green energy. And the reality is a barrel of oil produced in the United States of America is cleaner than anywhere else in the world. Natural gas here is cleaner than anywhere else in the world. That is a smart approach, and that is the approach that we should be taking now. Nuclear energy, we should be looking at nuclear energy in terms of having that as a green renewable resource. Unfortunately, that's something that I think Michael Douglas and Cher killed back in the 70s.
Silkwood, that's right. So where do you see this infrastructure bill, it's getting, well, hopefully getting funded, but what we're seeing now over the next 2 years is an incredible investment in infrastructure, yet who's going to be doing the work for it? I mean, the labor shortage is really significant, especially in the construction industry.
Well, I mean, is it a chicken or the egg argument? I don't know. Normally, you would work off the assumption that if you provide somebody a good-paying job, you'd find the workers. Mm-hmm. I was in Truckee this past weekend, and there was a sign in a restaurant, and it was $22 for a dishwasher. Help wanted.
Yeah.
$22. That was a hell of a lot more money than I ever made when I graduated from college for several years.
Yeah.
I think we have a cultural problem as well, and I just hate to say this. A lot of people just don't want to work, or they don't want to make the commitment. And so, I do applaud, the administration for ignore the gimmicks of a gas tax holiday, which in some ways I want them to do that in Nevada because we're going to reap the vig in Nevada. So if there's a gas tax holiday, viewers, just so everybody knows, you're not going to see a decline in your price 1 cent in Nevada. That federal gas tax money that goes to Washington and then back to the states is going to stay right here. So some ways I want it to pass because it'll be good for our highways and byways, but again, it's a gimmick. But I don't know, Randy. I have serious concerns about just America was always predicated on show up, bring your lunchbox, work hard, and you have unlimited upward mobility. It appears as if there's been a tantamount generational shift where that value is lost.
Yeah.
But I also blame a lot of our leaders and a lot of the smartest people in the world who are there dictating our economy, what it's going to look like. Klaus Schwab, yell on nothing and be happy about it. We have a generation today, a younger generation, and it breaks my heart. I was talking to a candidate for state senate, Nettie Stevens, 27 years old, and she said, I don't know that I'm ever going to own a home. Yeah. Absolutely breaks your heart to hear that. But once again, that's what happens when you have shortages. When you have shortages of housing, the price goes up. When you have shortages of food, the price goes up. When you have a shortage of cars, when you have a shortage of energy, the price goes up. If we want to change that, if we want to change that dynamic, we need to be smarter about reshoring American manufacturing back here and bringing in legal immigrants to come here and work if we don't have people that will take that job. But we have so many systems that are broken because, once again, our leaders are not seriously, and not all of them. Hey, we have some very good people, but from the top, what we hear from the folks in the media, all the talking heads, it doesn't give your folks that are making those investments a lot of solace to be able to say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to make this. I'm going to make this work.
It takes a lot of investment to own a business, to start a business, to invest in oil fields and whatever. We're going to be right back after this and solve more of the world's problems. Right after this.
Liberal D.C. spending is making life in Nevada painfully expensive.
It's a killer. It really is. Groceries, everything.
I have no choice. I gotta get gas one way or another.
Not only gas prices, everything is going up.
Senator Catherine Cortez Masto joined fellow D.C. liberals voting for trillions in government spending, causing inflation and higher costs, making it harder for Nevadans to get by. Tell Senator Cortez Masto to stop voting for reckless spending and start fighting inflation.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org. Hi, I'm Renee Summerhour, digital news anchor here at 7 at 7. Watch our streaming nonstop newscast immediately with your mobile phone. 7 at 7 is the new way for you to get every bit of local news you need in just 7 minutes. Breaking news, local neighborhood news, weather, and sports are just a click away. Reporters bring you all of what's happening in the Valley. From Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, and more. Get every bit of local news you need from the RJ and LVRJ.com.
Ahern Rentals began as Signal Gas Station on Las Vegas Boulevard. Founder John Ahern grew the business by offering rentals. His son Don built on John's legacy, growing Ahern Rentals into the largest independently owned American rental company with 89 locations in 30 states. Don also brought his experience and vision to equipment manufacturing with Extreme Manufacturing and Snorkel. Today, Ahern Rentals continues to bring its family values to a new generation. Learn more at ahern.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And we're back on Nevada Newsmakers with Paul Enos and Andy MacKay. And we've talked a lot of issues, but I want to go back to domestic oil production. I was having a lot of fun researching this yesterday. So America produces about 15 million barrels a day of oil, oil and gas. Texas is first. The Gulf of Mexico, that offshore oil leasing, is second with 2.6 million barrels a day. New Mexico's third, go figure. But even in Nevada, I spoke with Courtney Luxford from the Division of Minerals and learned that Nevada actually produces 212,000 barrels of oil annually, so nothing like the big boys. And yet you hear just recently the Biden administration saying, well, they've got all these oil leases and they're not using them. They just dinked around with the offshore oil and gas program. They weren't going to renew it. Then they just renewed it this week. And what's interesting is it seems like we're going to go say, hey, OPEC, give us more oil. And yet the tax revenue from the offshore oil and gas lease program, $975 million of that goes to the Land and Water Conservation Fund. 255 goes to state and local governments, and 150 million goes to the Historic Preservation Fund. So here is an oil and gas tax that's being spent in America producing cleaner oil. If you look at the methane emissions from America versus Russia and Saudi Arabia, we're lower. So we are cleaner gas. So, I mean, I'm all for moving to a cleaner energy, as we talked about.
You know, Randy, I'm an all of the above energy guy. I mean, I think there's tremendous potential in hydrogen. I think that there are some amazing things with battery electric vehicles. But the reality is, when you look at the tailpipe emissions from an internal combustion engine, diesel engine today, diesel truck, the lifetime savings between that and a battery electric vehicle is 30%. When we look at things like renewable diesel, you know, which we produce about 1 billion gallons of a year in this country, you save 67% tailpipe emissions from that baseline. That's pretty amazing. And do you know what's really neat about that? You don't have to change the trucks. You don't have to change the fueling infrastructure. You don't need to make the insane investment that we're going to need to make in the grid, which if we do move to electric vehicles, between 300 and 500% more power lines. How do we move power? We move it on copper. That is a tremendous amount of mining and resources that we're going to have to get. And once again, America has not been strategic in how we secure those mineral resources. We have left it to the Chinese, we have left it to the Russians, we have left it to the Australians. And while Nevada does a phenomenal job mining here, there are a lot more resources we could go after. But once again, just like with oil leases, the federal government makes it extremely difficult to be able to do that. It is not an easy process. 7 to 10 years to make a mine, to get a mine started. That is crazy. China has almost a monopoly on graphite, on cobalt, which is produced in the Congo. We are looking at a future, if we move our mobility to electric, where we are going to be more dependent on our enemies and our nemesises around the world than we are today.
Well, this is frightening. And we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
Southwest Specialties has been making the homes and businesses of Nevada beautiful for more than 20 years. Their experienced designers and craftsmen create the walkways, backyards, water features, and a variety of outdoor cooking areas that add curb appeal and value to your investment. Call today or visit them at their website and see how they can make your outdoor spaces special. Southwest Specialties, creative, distinctive, beautiful.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low, and our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way, because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
We're back on Nevada Newsmakers with Andy MacKay and Paul Enos. So, Paul, you brought up during the break the independent contractor bill that passed in California.
2019.
Yeah.
We, California Trucking Association, supported by just about every trucking association, the wide swath of the trucking industry throughout the country, getting rid of AB 5, which basically says, as a trucking company, you cannot hire an owner-operator as an independent contractor. You have to hire them as an employee. Most of those folks don't want to be employees. They like the freedom. They like the ability to park their truck for 2 months. And, if they're an immigrant, which a large majority of them are, go to India or Mexico, or maybe not Russia right now, but be able to go back there for a few months. Independent contractors, owner-operators are some of the hardest working folks that are out there. They have a high risk tolerance for the ups and downs of businesses. And what's happened in California with the passage of AB 5, and now the Supreme Court not taking that up, it is going to make these supply chain challenges that we have and our ability to meet the demands to move the freight that we require even more difficult than it is today.
Well, you say 96% of merchandise in Nevada is moved by trucks. Is that right?
90, I think 95.8. So, but we can round up.
96. Yeah, I don't think people don't understand the importance of trucking to this country. And I think we learned it during.
I think we've learned it during COVID. That was the silver lining
of
the pandemic. Mm-hmm. You would hope that would also come with a realization of what moves this country, which is diesel fuel, and it isn't easily replaced with hydrogen or electric today. That's going to take a while to be able to get there. So once again, we need people that are not just talking platitudes, are not energy ignorant, but have a keen understanding of what it takes to move this country, to move this economy, and move all the freight that we want to see on our grocery store shelves, that we want to see taken out of the ports.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. It was a fascinating discussion. We'll be back. I hope to have you guys back, and we'll continue this conversation.
Anytime, Randy.
Thanks, Paul.
for having us.
Thanks, Andy. Appreciate it. We'll be right back after this.
With Nevada's only transplant center and verified burn center, the science is here. With award-winning cardiologist and the state's only dedicated heart failure clinic, the talent is here. With Nevada's most advanced robotic surgery, the technology is here. And with the Silver State's only designated pediatric trauma center, hope is here. All because we are here. UMC.
I'm here at the Carson Valley Inn in Minden with Joey Whitaker. One of the things I love about the Carson Valley Inn here in beautiful downtown Minden is CV steak. I have eaten here so many times. Tell folks what they can expect when they come here to eat.
It's a beautiful room, great service. We have certified Angus beef, seafood, lamb, a great range of appetizers, and wonderful desserts. Jean-Michel's done a great job of selecting some beautiful wines for us. The customers love it, and we've got a great selection of cocktails as well. It's not a long way to get away to the Carson Valley Inn.
A bird's eye captures its surroundings at different heights. At Brian Culpa Photography, we can make your imagination soar over buildings, parks, cityscapes, and beyond. Brian's images tell the story and get the job done. If you need a new perspective to tell your story, contact Brian today. Brian Culpa Photography. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com.
Safety is the #1 priority for the trucking industry. Over $7 billion a year is spent on technology like this electronic eye that will apply the brakes automatically. But the most important factor for safety is the truck driver. These hardworking men and women who safely move over 70% of our nation's freight and 94% of Nevada's. We thank you because trucks move America forward.
Liberal D.C. spending is making life in Nevada painfully expensive.
It's a killer. It really is. Groceries, everything.
I have no choice. I gotta get gas one way or another.
Not only gas prices, everything is going up.
Senator Catherine Cortez Masto joined fellow D.C. liberals voting for trillions in government spending, causing inflation and higher costs, making it harder for Nevadans to get by. Tell Senator Cortez Masto to stop voting for reckless spending and start fighting inflation.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
Your good times are at Tamarack Casino. All new DC Cafe and Bar, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Ooh, your good times at Tamarack.
Your good times are at Tamarack Casino.
Thank you for watching and listening. You can watch us anytime live on NevadaNewsmakers.com. Thanks again.